Hello everybody, welcome back. My name's Winback, and on today's episode we're doing something new. I'm going to do some patch notes today since they dropped super late, and why not? So the patch notes, there was a lot of touches. A lot of characters got touched, but a lot of the touches made are always going to be to underperforming talents these days. So some of them are going to kind of bait you into bad decisions, and well, I'll tell you about those too. But anyway, starting off with the tank roll, just going from the top to the bottom. Diablo is getting some changes. Feast on Fear being our level 1 talent, the one that is going to give you health percentage back for your Q and E stuns. It is... Okay, so we're changing it from 4% of your max health over time to 2.5% of your max health immediately. So you'll basically just stun someone with your Q, then flip them with your E, and you'll get 5% max health back for a combo. It's probably an overall buff for the talent, but with your auto attack build, that is going to be a bit of a nerf, because the damage over time that you're getting on those abilities used to pair really well with the health that you were getting from your auto attacks in those positions where you could just melee a stunned target for a really long time. But overall, that's probably a good change, because it feels like melee build with Diablo is a little bit over-tuned. Let's see. How do we do this? Oh no, the camera is over here and I'm looking down on the... Okay, let's just... Whatever. Bear with me. This is the first time I've done patch notes with the camera on my face, or period, at all. So we'll figure it out. Let's see. So Sacrificial Soul is your 4 talent with your Q. When you slam somebody into a wall, you get a bunch of armor, and you get 10 souls per person slammed. So they're reducing the amount of base armor that you get by 5, and then by 10 when you're at full 100 souls. So you would get 50 armor when you're at 100 souls, and only 25. Still, that's a pretty significant change. 10 armor is 10% less damage mitigation that you have, so that's probably pretty important. Making Diablo less unkillable is very good. Armor duration also getting a nerf, so big good news for everybody who plays into Diablo. Life Leech seeing a nerf. This is the auto attack passive that you get at level 4. Let's see. So the base healing got reduced to 1.75%. and 3.5% at 100 souls. So still get a lot of health back with the auto build. Probably, I don't know if you're going to notice that, honestly. But it may help kill Diablo in those moments where he's got a very small amount of health and need to eat through all that healing and his big health pool to get the kill. Hellfire at 13. Damage per second increased by a little bit less than half, so what is this ability even? I don't understand. Sinking down too far into my chair. Hellfire. No, I've got to look at this one. Let's see what we've got for Diablo. 13 talent. I just don't play fire. I hate the fire build, so I've never committed this talent to memory. This is the spell power buff. Oh, yeah. That's unforgettable. I mean, I didn't realize it was doing damage, though. 30 damage per second. Still seems kind of shitty. Who knows? Maybe it's good. Whatever. You fire stomp build people got a little bit of buff to the damage, I guess. And then Debilitating Flames, they actually increased the slow amount. That's weird. So the slow total that you can get on someone went from 50% to 60%, and then the slow amount required to affect damage dealt is being reduced. Okay. No, we have to look at it again, because again, I don't play this build for Diablo, and I definitely don't play Weaken at 16. Heroes slowed by 24% or more by Debilitating Flames deal 50% less damage. So if you hit someone with 4 Fire flames from Diablo's Stomp, they're going to do 50% less damage, which is fine because if you're playing that build, you're taking Eternal Flames at 7, so you have a lot of resets, you can shoot out a lot of fire. It's good. I don't think it's for me. Definitely not for me. I like to play hyper-aggressive Diablo and not so much tanky sit back and burn Diablo. Mal'Ganis getting some much-needed buffs, thank God. Getting a maximum health increase that looks to be about, what is that? Just shy of 10% on his max health. And regen. Basic attack damage going up too. Super good for the build that I like to play with the character. Fellclaw's damage being reduced, though, by a very small amount. But still a nerf, obviously. Night Rush cooldown dropping from 16 to 14 seconds is awesome, too, because that's 2 seconds that maybe you can stun some more people, or put them to sleep, I guess, is the terminology. Time to feed. So they adjusted the functionality, I read this earlier, but Mal'Ganis is going to heal for 70 when damaging an enemy hero, and that's the normal functionality for it. Anytime that he hit a person, he got that little burst heal from hitting them. It was under their nameplate. You would see the indicator for it. And the 6 seconds per enemy, like that cooldown, that's how it normally worked. But you can refresh this heal now when you put people to sleep with Night Rush. So now, if you hit a bunch of people, get that burst heal, and then you sleep them all and hit them again, you've got double that amount of healing. That is really good. Considering that the talent wasn't terrible in the first place, I think that is a very, very, very good buff to the talent. Also competes, though, with the block talent at 1, which is a lot of what people pick these days on Mal'Ganis, but hopefully this makes it a little bit better competitively between the two. Fueled by Torment, getting some healing increase. It's a little less than 10% it looks like, but that's still, when you're picking Fueled by Torment, you're picking it into characters who are going to proc it a lot, so it's good. Echo of Doom, I don't know why they decided to buff this by such a teeny amount. I don't think this talent really competes with the other two very well, so that's neither here nor there. Will of Tichondrius getting another 0.25 seconds on the Q stun doesn't feel really good either, because this talent just has such a high window of execution with all the shit that you have to hit with it, so it's kind of like whatever. Spreading Plague, getting more damage increase means more heals for you, so that's good. The other thing, Black Claws is your other level 7 talent, and that is typically what I'm picking, so I don't think I'm going to be changing my mind anytime soon about that. Blood Rush is getting a duration nerf to compensate, I'm assuming, for what they think are buffs on this character, so that sucks, but it's understandable. Frenzied Assault, attack speed duration getting increased to 3 seconds, not terrible. Blind as a Bat is getting a cooldown reduction, 20 seconds, good. Cooldown reduction from the final slash of Fellclaws reduced from 5 to 4 seconds to compensate for the change in the cooldown reduction, and then no longer sets Fellclaws on a cooldown when it expires. I didn't realize it even did that, mainly because I haven't played a whole lot of Mal'Ganis recently, but that's good to know. So when the ability expires, you can now use your regular Q after using all of your normal Qs. Cool. Hopefully, those buffs, especially the health and then the base stat increase plus that level 1 talent, will push Mal'Ganis a little bit further into the limelight as a main tank, hopefully dealing some blows or some nerfs to Diablo will put him back in the good graces of the player base for us here. Let's see, Muradin got nerfs. I wasn't super sure why he got nerfs, because a lot of people aren't good at this character, but I guess they were thinking higher level players are playing him a bit too well, or maybe just people who are good at Muradin. So they reduced the damage bonus on Perfect Storm. Dwarf Block is now going to have infinite duration on its block charges. Thunderburn is getting a damage increase. That's the puddle of damage that sits there when you hit a hero with your W at level 4. Avatar getting a health nerf. That's like what, 5-ish%, 5.3%. And then Bronzebeard Rage getting a big nerf, but they're changing the functionality, so instead of hitting your W on characters and getting the damage and the heal, you're going to have to hit your Q. And, oh, well, I mean, since your Q technically infinitely scales, if you're building that way, you could potentially be getting a lot of health back. So, I guess it's just to kind of put some skill barrier onto Muradin so that you can't just walk up, slap W, and then heal and deal a bunch of damage. Dwarf launch at 16, getting its cooldown reduction dropped by a singular second. Those changes always bug me, because, you know, it's like, I guess that's good, sure, but I don't play the character enough to notice those sort of things. Tyrael getting some pretty decent changes here, and I was going to play some Tyrael a couple weeks back, but he just felt so bad in most matches that it's like, okay, well, hopefully these changes will do something for that. Now, Archangel's Wrath is Tyrael's trait, so the duration that you have the ability active is going up by 0.5 seconds. Damage reduced when you actually explode on people by 100, which is whatever. You're trading that damage for a whole bunch of utility that they're baking into it, because you're going to get 20% more movement speed when you're dead now, and you are going to force the characters inside of your radius while you are a ghost to deal 50% less damage, and then enemies hit by it are also going to deal 50% less damage after you explode on them for 3 seconds. So in total, you should be able to turn any given character's damage down 50% for 7 whole seconds, unless they can just zip out of your shit real quick, like a Zeratul. That might be a little bit of trouble, or other characters with movement. But with the increased movement speed, it's probably going to be really easy to land. And don't forget, this is also going to reduce Tyrael's death timer by the number of people that you hit. So still very good buffs for that talent, because that talent does really kind of suck unless you're dead and you don't want to be dead, and it's weird. So level 1, getting buffs all around on all of these talents. 5% increase to Justice for All, because 100 was too much. 75 just seems a little bit too whatever. They're giving it a teeny nudge in the positive direction. It's the only talent that you really take anyway, so why not? Ardent Restoration is the it's a bit of a bruiser talent, so you're going to heal over time, and then you are going to increase this overtime healing by, you're increasing the duration of the heal based on as much damage or as many instances of damage that you do to other heroes. So you hit the enemies, you heal longer. I think it goes up to a maximum duration of like 10 seconds. So it's about 200 health over a 10-second window. I could be wrong. I might be doing the numbers wrong. Let's check. Collection Tank Tyrael. Let's see. Dealing damage to a hero heals Tyrael for 20 health over 5 seconds. Dealing damage resets this timer, and heal amount stacks up to 10 times. So you can get 200 health out of it. If you stack it up 10... No, wait. No, that makes sense. Right. So you could potentially be getting 200 health over 5 seconds. And then you... Tyrael, if you could just shut the fuck up for a minute. I'm trying to look at your shit. It's going to increase the amount of the heal by 1%. I don't know if that's good. It could be. I also don't think Bruiser Tyrael is good, so if you play... it's rough. I don't know. There are dev comments about this character that were more impressive than the notes themselves, but still. Stalwart Angel is the armor duration talent that you get when you throw your Q. They're increasing the duration on the armor. Fine, whatever, kind of boring. Bound by Law, which was the best talent at that tier, in my opinion, was the 30% slow that you got for hitting people with your Q. No longer doing that. Instead, they are giving you 3% of your maximum health bar back per person that you hit with your Q. So that's potentially really good. It's kind of a weird trade, because that slow was one of the few forms of CC that Tyrael actually had, and now that it's gone, it's like we're trading it for heals, but are we really into that? I don't know. Divine Vigor having its healing increased from 75% to 70%, I guess to try to make Bound by Law more appealing of the healing options. I don't know. That whole tier is just kind of weird. Reciprocate is the Tyrael gets a little circle around his shield and it does some damage in an AoE. It's kind of, again, it's a very meh talent, but it does help wave clear. It does help him do AoE damage. It's like, I don't know, pass. It's only got a 20 damage buff to it as well, so yeah. And then Sanctification getting a 10% cooldown reduction down to 90 seconds. Good. Anything that you do to Sanctification, being that it's like the stupidest, most broken ult in the game, is going to be a net positive for Tyrael. And then Herodric Forging at 16 is the talent that you take where you are going to reduce the cooldown of your Q with your auto attacks. So now you're taking 2 seconds off of that when you whack people with your Q, and that is really, really good for mobility, really good for Holy Ground, really good for tanking Tyrael stuff. So yeah. Anyway, the developer comments were what really set me off. So there's so many things that we want to do with Tyrael in the future, but for the time being, we wanted to add some more utility to his trait while adding some fun additions to some other underperforming talents. Now, it's this one. That makes me think that there is a Tyrael rework planned for the relative future. Because if you remember, they did this with Tassadar. They buffed his kit, a whole bunch of weird stuff in his kit when he was kind of goofy support Tassadar. And then, a few months later, he became Mage High Templar Tassadar that everybody, has fun playing these days. So that is what I'm thinking with that comment, but I could be wrong. Bruisers. First up is Artanis. This is the... I've been able to play a couple Artanis games, and I'm going to tell you these changes are not great. So, baseline, the best talent, or the best change to him so far, is going to be the Blade Dash damage increase. So, it's only getting 6 more damage, but still, that's a little bit more than the 10% damage increase on your Q, on the outgoing Q damage. So, right now, the Q outgoing is kind of shitty, unless you're taking Solarite Reaper. But the backwards direction is where all the damage is. So now they're buffing that a little bit, and they're taking Solarite Reaper and giving it another 25% damage increase. So basically, this is Artanis' wave clear talent, and it's the only talent at that tier that really lets him clear waves that isn't tied to his auto attacks. It really, hopefully, will give Artanis more clear so that he can offlane better, so that he can kind of get some talent tree diversity. Because right now he's all auto attacks. Auto attacks are really the only thing that works in games where you can, actually win with Artanis. So it's a little bit, it's kind of rough. But anyway, I think those two things are very good changes. Everything else is kind of shitty. Psionic Synergy, giving you 30 armor for 5 seconds is fine, whatever, but you still have to land your E, your Phase Prism, which is the slowest moving missile in the entire universe, and has a very teeny thin hitbox and misses constantly. So that is, in and of itself, pretty trash talent if you cannot hit the Phase Prism, and yeah. The talent that you take to try and compensate for this is the 13, the Graviton Vortex, which used to grab 2 people when you swapped them instead of 1, and now just reduces the cooldown of your E when you hit people with your Blade Dash or your auto attacks. And it's like, cool, I guess. I can throw E's out left and right, but if all they're doing is keeping me alive and all of the other talent synergy of this build is wrapped around my E, it just sucks. Because you don't do damage, you barely stay more alive than you would normally. And I don't know, it feels like they're trying to make an E build but all of the talents that synergize with the E build are on conflicting tiers with the E. It sucks. It sucks. Don't play E, Artanis. It's not good. Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is kind of a weird comment. He's getting more success on his basic attack talents. So, if he's doing better on those talents, you need to give him a playstyle that competes with that, not buffing things that are so bad about his kit that maybe they see some meme play. Or maybe you just buff his auto talents, because God forbid Artanis be a good character again. He was, for a very small period of time, a very, very, very good character. Right after his rework, when they decided to let you throw Phase Prism during your Blade Dash, he was very strong. First pick material a lot, and then he got nerfed into submission, and it's upsetting. Hogger, damage reduced on Hogwild, whatever. Brute Force is the stacking auto attack talent quest for your Q, and they're giving you more damage for the quest. I think that is. It's fine. Like I'm so tired of seeing Hogger at this point that I'm really not interested in a whole lot of the changes of his kit. So cool. Ragnaros. Let's see. So Sulfuras Hungers is the Q quest. You gotta last hit minions with the Q. They're changing it from 30 to 25, which is good. Obviously, lower requirements are always good. And they are giving it more damage once you complete it. Again, super good. But buffing Ragnaros' melee talents means that you're going to... Well, if you pick that talent, you're going to build into melee Ragnaros. And if you're not playing into a comp that is going to want to fight him a lot without CCing him a whole lot, melee Ragnaros is only kind of okay at that stuff. Hand of Ragnaros at 7 is it's the heal button. I think it's extra healing on your Q. And you're gonna get 10 mana back. What is the... I don't know. I don't know anymore. It used to just be a heal increase, I think. I could be wrong. No, it was the cooldown reduction. So it was taking seconds off when you hit people with your Q. Now they're just saying it's going to recharge faster, and you're going to get mana back. So that's fine. Cooldown reduction. You do need that when you're playing melee rag. Cauterized Wounds is the additional Q over time they're giving you when you hit people with your Q at 13. So any buff to that is obviously not terrible. And then Meteor Bomb at 16 is the one that does extra damage when the meteor explodes at its tip. So it's going to do even more damage near its center, which is, again, like, it's really hard to aim if you don't take the Meatball quest at level 1. So if you're doing Meatball, make sure you take that at 16. Still not amazing changes, but I guess they're changes. Let's see, so Healer Alexstrasza. This is tragic because I just played W build Alex a couple weeks ago, or days ago, whatever, and it was fun, but hitting that 15 Globe quest at 1 would have made giving Stitches and Kael'thas even more globes, even faster, even better. So that's tragedy. But Gift of Life's cooldown recharge increased from 100 to 125. I don't know what Q does at level 1. Time to look. I just don't play Alexstrasza enough, and I liked E-Build more than anything else. So, let's see. While Alexstrasza is above 75%, okay, that makes sense. So, when she's at high health, she's going to have her cooldown on her Q recharge even faster. That's not bad for the Q build. Life Blossom is going to reduce the cost of Gift of Life to 10% maximum health. Wasn't this free? Wait a minute.
Life begets life, and the cycle
While Alexstrasza is above 75% health, Gift of Life creates a life blossom at the target's location. Alexstrasza can collect the blossom to make her next Gift of Life cost no health. Oh, so passively, it's just going to change it to 10%, whereas it's normally taking 15%. So that's who knows? I don't play that build of Alex. I don't think Alex is a very strong healer at the moment, so whatever. And then Draconic Discipline getting a nerf because E-Build is the only thing that anybody takes on this character because it's super fun, and I don't think that Blizzard realizes that you have to make healing really good on a character to compete with fun in order to increase win rate. So I doubt Alexstrasza is going to see any super high pick priority in anybody's comp because of these changes. Lily is basically getting a talent overhaul, so this could be exciting. She is coming up in our A through Z. So base changes for Blinding Wind. That's your E. That's the one that's going to throw out the little whirlwinds that blind people. It is actually going to slow enemies by 15% for 1.5 seconds. This is an auto target ability, so that is good for people hit by the whirlwinds. Level 1 Serpent Sidekick is being moved to 1 from 4, and the new functionality Cloud Serpent no longer costs mana while Fast Feet is active and refreshes an additional 75% faster. So Fast Feet is your trait, and I believe it's when you get hit with any type of damage from the enemy team. Let's see. Yes, upon taking damage, your ability cooldowns refresh 50% faster, and you get 10% move speed. So now that's going to be 75% faster, and your Wind Serpent, which is normally 35 mana, is going to be 0 mana. So that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool change. That's going to make using Serpent a lot easier. Eager Adventurer. Duration and mana regen bonuses increased by another 25% to 150%. I kind of like this talent to begin with because you do end up taking a lot of damage on Lily, and that could be totally worth it. But who knows? This new set of talents may set us up for a very easy Serpent build that could prove to be very impactful. Wind Serpent, the level 1 and the 4 talents got swapped, so Wind Serpent is now going to give its bearer 10% increased move speed, and then casting Blinding Wind increases this bonus to 20% for 3 seconds. And then your Cloud Serpent is just passively going to attack 25% faster. So that basically means if you put your Cloud Serpent on a melee character and then you cast Blinding Wind, I think it's just casting because it doesn't say it has to hit anything, that person is going to just start tearing ass through the enemy team to jump on whatever character that you want them to hit, and then potentially they're being healed by the Wind Serpent as well. It's pretty cool. It's kind of a like if you're putting Auriel Hat on somebody with the 16 talent and they're getting spell power or they're getting attack speed, this is just giving someone move speed for a very small window with your dragon, which is neat. Now, Safety Sprint. This is an activatable on your D, so we're going to activate to get 30 armor and 30% move speed for 3 seconds. Lots of threes. And then while Fast Feet is active, we're just going to get 10 armor baseline. So anytime that we're taking damage from the enemy team, we're getting 10 armor, and we can activate it as well to get triple that amount and then 30% move speed for 3 seconds. And then it's also now on a 30-second cooldown. So lots of threes in this ability. I don't know. I'd have to see the way that it kind of works with her other talents, but 30 armor is never bad on a healer, or somebody being dived, or someone as slippery as Lily. Level 7, Mass Vortex has been moved to 13. So I think Mass Vortex was the one that throws out multiple blinds? Moved from level 13. I'm an idiot. Yes. So we changed the blind throw from 2 to 3 targets, and Blinding Wind deals 75% additional damage if all 3 enemies hit are heroes. So really good team fight buff, but it also now competes with Cleanse, which is, I don't think that's even a competition for most people. Anyway, let's see. So let's go. This is Lili's cleanse. So the activate to heal an allied hero for 160 now instead of 140, and give him a cleanse. So it is a. Oh, that's affected by fast feet. That's probably one of the better cleanses in the entire game, if we're being honest. Now, Water Dragon got a nerf. I guess they were really scared that Water Dragon Lili is going to be scary. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but they've given it 5 additional seconds cooldown, and then they've given the mana cost a bump up as well. It seems like she's going to have less problems with mana with these talents, but I could be wrong. And then Lightning Serpent moved from level 7. Bounce attack no longer requires heroic targets. So let's see. Cloud Serpent attacks bounce to hit 2 additional targets for 13 damage and 10 healing. So whatever targets they're bouncing to, they're healing even if they're not heroes. That's good. Again, just kind of a buff for the Serpent build period. So anything that you can get for that is going to be helpful. Gale Force. Basic attack, damage bonus from 75% to 100%. I don't know Lili's talents, so bear with me while I learn them on the fly. Going to increase the duration of the blind by 0.75, and Lili's basic attacks against blinded heroes deal 100% increased damage. So you're doing double damage to blinded targets. And then Hindering Winds is going to now make your Blinding Winds slow people 30% instead of 15%, and the duration is 2 seconds. So 30%, like I said on Tyrael, isn't a negligible amount of slow. I mean, it's good. So hitting people on a ranged ability that auto-targets people and it's undodgeable is not bad. Blessings of Yu'lon, new functionality. Cloud Serpent grants its bearer 10% increased healing received and heals them for 0.5% of their maximum health each time it attacks. So, again, building full into Serpent these days, you're going to be getting 0.5% of their maximum health back. I don't know if that counts the bounces or if that's just the attacks themselves, but with the Serpent build, the way that it's here, you're going to get increased attack speed on the Serpent. So potentially, I have to do the math, but I assume you're going to get anywhere from 2 to 5% of their maximum health back with the Serpent, maybe more. I'm guessing. And then at 20, we're going to get 35 armor, picking Shake It Off, while stunned, silenced, or rooted. And then we're going to increase Fast Feet's cooldown refresh bonus to 75% from 50%. So that's just all the time. That kind of makes your other talent redundant, though. Nope. Nope, never mind. That's just for your Cloud Serpent and your Cloud Serpent's cooldown. Oh, wow. Okay. So potentially you could have a Serpent up very often with this. Actually, let's check that out. Let's go into try mode, switch over to the game real quick. Set level to 20.
Choose a talent.
Come down here. We're going to take all Serpent talents. So we've got Serpent Sidekick, Wind Serpent. Take the Cleanse. We'll take Water Dragon, Theme's Sake, Lightning Serpent, Blessings of Yu'lon, and we'll take Shake It Off. So this is going to take us from 50% faster when we're taking... Yeah, just upon taking damage. Okay. So let's say we put a W on us. We come over here and attack these guys so we can take some damage. Keep damaging me, please. There's another Serpent. There's another Serpent. This is pretty neat. I mean, this is very often. I'm not healing myself at all because I'm not used to this character, but...
Your enemies fall before you.
Come over here and heal me. I'd say that's, I was cutting it down to, I'm assuming about 4 seconds. And it looks like she's just really difficult to kill. We're obviously not killing the camp, but that's nuts. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I'd totally say that's worth it. Is that because of the level 20 talent, or is it just because of the build itself? I don't know, but feels good. Probably need to try it in an actual team fight in the game. So looking forward to that A through Z for Lily. And you'll, well, this may be the point of time where you hear me play Lily a lot more often. These changes seem really cool. I'm not going to lie to you. I like those. Anyway, so back to the list itself. They're buffing Lucio again, even though Lucio is considered like one of the most OP supports at the moment. And they are giving High Five a movement speed increase while dashing to a person, so you're getting another 25% to get there. I don't know about that. I think the character's already kind of dumb. Dumb in a good way. And then Malfurion, the next healer to be changed, is actually getting a lot of level 1 talent buffs, so this is really cool. Emerald Dreams is now going to sleep enemies who are rooted for 2 seconds after the root expires. So his root is actually pretty decently long. I think it's 1.25, right? Let's see. Yeah, 1.25, and then we are going to slow people for, or sleep people for 2 seconds after that. So assuming they don't get woken up, they're going to be stuck in place for 3.25 seconds. That's crazy good. And then Deep Roots now has a quest component. Enemies hit are going to permanently give you mana, which is something that Malfurion struggles with a decent amount, so that is really helpful. Now, the level 4 and level 1, they got swapped. So they swapped the talent tiers. I think that's good because those Vine tiers at 1 make much bigger impact than the previous tiers at level 1. But now Shando's Clarity, the one that is going to give you... What is it? Oh, yeah, right, the recharge. The cooldown recharge. God, why is that so hard to remember? You're now also going to get 2 charges of Innervate on top of getting the cooldown recharge on Innervate back faster per ally affected by your regrowth. So that, pretty cool. Having 2 charges of Innervate means you can slap mana on more and more people, and they love that. And they also love having their cooldowns reduced. So, and then Hindering Moonfire at 13 is just going to increase the slow duration by 1 second. It's not bad. I think that's what you take anyway, so... White Mane also getting some changes. Attack speed bonus on Righteous Flame increased from 25% to 40%. Cool. So this is kind of the weird build I was playing with White Mane last time I touched her. So that would help that build, obviously. And then the duration for the attack speed buff is going to be reduced by 1 second because getting 40% attack speed for 4 seconds does seem a bit OP. Unwavering Faith, attack damage bonus from 15% to 20%. Alright, White Mane, show me what this talent does. Yeah, that's a pretty minor buff to a talent I was already picking, so that's okay. Makes landing your attack speed buff easier as well because that's a talent that increases the range on White Mane's autos. Neat. Scarlet Aegis, I don't know why they're buffing it. The talent's already busted good, so giving another 50 healing on top of that seems like overkill, but I'll take it. And then Scarlet Wrath, duration bonus of Zeal for basic attacks increased by 0.25 seconds. Cooldown reduction of Zeal activation from basic attacks increased from 1 to 4 seconds. Excuse me? What does that do? Talents 13. Basic attacks against heroes increase the duration of all active Zeals by 3/4 of a second and lower the cooldown of Zeal's activation. So the trait itself, it's hard to tell the difference between what they mean by characters with Zeal on them and then the actual button itself. But the trait Zeal, let's see, what's the cooldown on this? It doesn't put the cooldown of the ability in the tooltip. I think it's like 30 seconds. It's like 25 or 30. Maybe it's more. I'm not sure. But having 4 seconds come off of that seems decent. Probably pretty good. It's just a buff all around to the auto attack build, so that's not terrible. And then obviously her ult buff is nuts. And then Illidan hasn't seen buffs in ages, but they have switched his level 7 and his level 4 talents. So now he is going to have, what is it? What did they say? You're giving his healing talent tier to him earlier, and then his mobility talent tier later. So overall, late game, mid game, Illidan is still going to be exactly the same, but early game Illidan shouldn't suck nearly as much as he does, because he's going to have healing earlier and mobility later. But he already has a shitload of mobility, so... And then the Unbound quest is the one that gives you, I think, an extra charge of your W, and it goes over terrain. And they changed it from 30 to 15, so lots easier to hit, lots easier to quest complete, just good all-around buff for that ability, even though I don't think that you will take it, because that's the that's on the same tier that lets you dive onto allies with your Q. So ranged assassin Chromie being nerfed. Her time trap is getting a significant health drop, so that should be easier to kill. Once again, the first time, quest reward increases Echo Mimic damage by 5%. So they're buffing the Q talent at 1, and then nerfing the passive talent at 1 as well. So you're only going to see the place that you click on for 2 seconds instead of 4, which is good. And then spell power reduction, also extremely good, because you don't need to be giving 15% spell power to a character that can punch people from 20 miles into the future. Now, our level 2 talents are Time Troubles. This is the one that reduces the armor of the enemies hit and increases the armor of the people that are on our team that get hit. So they are increasing the amount of allied armor and decreasing the amount of enemy armor reduction. So they're trying to emphasize using more on your teammates than you do your enemies, but who knows if that's actually effective in doing this. It may just force people to pick other talents, but we'll see how that goes. Mainly I see Chromie picked in higher level games and the CCL games, so maybe that has some effect on her play. Let's see. A proper greeting. I don't know what this talent does. Where are you? Level 5. Damaging a stunned, rooted, or slowed enemy gets you 20% additional damage. And then they reduce the duration from 5 to 3, dropping it by 5%. I think this is probably the talent that gets picked the most, especially in coordinated games where you can line up CC. So they're dropping that down more because it probably just does too much damage. Personally, on that tier, I like Mobius Loop, which is the slow on your W, but I don't see a lot of people taking that, so whatever. Then 8, Slowing Sands is getting a mana cost increase, which is amazing. And then the range is being decreased from 10 to 8. So they're taking a 20% off of the range of the ability, and they are increasing the mana cost. So Chromie has to blow a lot of mana to keep it up, I think, is their plan.
Everything is just a matter of time.
5 per second. So 150 mana for 30 seconds. I still don't think that's going to stop anybody from leaving it there forever. But the range reduction is also good because Chromie, if she wants to get in to use the ability on a target, she is going to have to put herself closer to danger to line that stuff up. So that's a good nerf. It may need to go further. Unraveling, the spell armor reduction is going to be increased from 7 to 10. They buffed the talent at 20, 18, whatever.
Just a matter of time.
Okay, so now it's going to reduce spell armor more, even though they nerfed the 10 or the 8. Steps forwards, steps backwards, I don't know. I don't think that's going to meet in the middle at all because having spell armor reduced by 10 up to 50.
Oh, excuse me. I'm just gonna...
I don't know. That seems in poor taste. Falstad basically got an entire talent tree rework and then got some really cool base changes. So Falstad was really, really strong before as a macro character and then as just kind of this ranged assassin who could do it all. But his talent tree was a little bit boring. So that being said, our base changes for Falstad, we are now going to increase... Oh no, hammering damage is actually being reduced. So we're dropping 41 damage off the ability. That's nuts. But in making that nerf to his hammer, they are also giving you the ability to activate Boomerang baseline. So now Falstad is going to be able to throw his hammer and boom it, and you don't always have to take Boomerang for clear because you have a baseline. So that's really good. Opening up some options for the character. The damage nerf sucks, but other than that, I think that's really smart idea for it. And then Lightning Rod is going to deal 100% additional damage to minions and mercenaries. That's neat. So that should make his camp taking better. That should make him way better at taking, clearing out giants or knights or, big healthy stuff, especially bosses. Oh my god. That's really good. That is a really strong change. Just making Falstad even more of a macro oriented character. So there's no more Wingman, no more Seasoned Marksman. They've been replaced with better or more Falstad-centric talents. So Gathering Storm hasn't been removed, but they have buffed it a bit. So damage bonus per quest stack changed from 2 to 0.2%. So it's a percentage increase now instead of just a flat increase. And then the mana refund is actually being reduced. Quest progress is gained from Hammerang's explosion. Nice. Okay. So it used to be you would only get stacks from this quest when you're throwing your hammer, when you hit him on the way out and the way back. But now Boomerang is going to explode baseline, and they want to give you a stack for that too. So that means AoE stacks potentially. So that talent is still super good. Your Dishonorable Discharge is going to take over for where Wingman was. And this is going to reduce Lightning Rod's cooldown by 3 seconds. Takedowns are going to reduce the entire cooldown, or reset the cooldown. And then after 3 Lightning Rod strikes, subsequent strikes on enemy heroes increase its damage by 1% up to 75%. So 75% was right around the upper average of damage bonus that you could get with Wingman. So they're saying if you use this ability long enough, we're going to give you the extra damage, but you're going to have to be more fight-oriented with Falstad in order to get it. Yeah, and you do have to hit it on heroes. So if you're not hitting it on heroes, you're not getting quest stacks, which is going to take the way that you were getting the Wingman stacks was not dealing with heroes. Now you're actually going to have to go deal with heroes to get increased stacks on your W. So they're giving Falstad kind of a more W-focused team fighty build. And then they are compensating for his lack of clear that you used to have with that build by letting it do more damage to mercs and minions and stuff. And then Frequent Flyer is the new seasoned marksman, but this is just going to be an activatable ability. I believe this is just on your trait. You're going to activate it to get 40% attack speed and Tailwind, which is your move speed trait, for 5 seconds. And then minion kills are going to give us 0.2 basic attack damage. Hero takedowns are going to give us 0.5 basic attack damage. So they took out the locked component of Seasoned Marksman and then just said, push the button if you want it, and then you can still stack minion and hero kills for damage, which is fucking great. Boomerang at level 7, the functionality has been changed. So Hammerang's explosion deals 75% additional damage and reduces spell armor by 15 for 3 seconds. So it's not bad. It's certainly a buff to an ability that I was already using all the time. So sure. What else does he have at 7? Let's see. Ranged Assassin. We're already on it. Falstad. Talents. I know a lot of people were picking up Secret Weapon. So this is increasing the range and increasing his basic attack damage by 90%. Right. So I was hearing on a couple people's streams while the patch was loading in that Secret Weapon now may end up being your #1 pick, because a lot of people were already dabbling in the Secret Weapon method of thinking, and according to I quote him all the time on the stuff he plays, but BBJ, who is a prolific Falstad player, was already taking Secret Weapon for the auto attack damage, and now that may be the talent that just takes off in popularity because of the way that they've changed Boomerang to be baseline. So that's nuts. And then they removed Giant Killer at 13 to give it a Falstad-centric basic attacks against heroes deal bonus equal to 1.5%, increased to 2% while Tailwind is active. So we can just turn on Tailwind now with the Frequent Flyer at level 1, meaning that we're going to do 2% auto attack damage plus the 90% that you're getting from Secret Weapon. You probably take that. You probably take the sustained wins. Yeah, because at 13, what else is there? I mean, there is obviously talents that buff your Lightning Rod, and then Flow Rider. Okay, so the reason I take Flow Rider when I play this character because I wanted to have the Lightning Rod up as often as possible. But with sustained wins now, taking out Giant Killer and then dealing more. Giant Killer just generically was doing, I think, 1.5%, but now that it does, I don't know. It's still good. Giant Killer is still a very, very, very strong talent, and I think it's probably more popular than Flow Rider, but I like Flow Rider better to have abilities more often, because I get spooked when I have to go in to chicken range with my auto attacks, and I'm not a fan of that. But, you know, whatever. People do what they're going to do. Crippling Hammer at 16. Bonus Hammerang slow reduced from 35 to 25, and Hammerang's explosion now also slows. So I see. Okay. So Crippling Hammer is actually going to change the slow. So there's a baseline slow on your Q for 25%, and now that is going to get buffed to 50% with this talent at 16, and they're reducing that increase because reasons. But since the explosion slows now too, that's basically an AoE slow for 50%, so that is actually nuts. Talents for Falstad just got buffed through the roof to give him a lot of... Perfectly honest with you, I think all these new talents are going to just kick the shit out of all the old talents, and you're just going to see a lot of people build this stuff instead, but I could be wrong. Some people still like their old talents, me particularly, but who knows? We may see more Falstad because, again, I think a lot of people are claiming that he's going to be pretty OP now, and So Phoenix got some changes. Phoenix is everybody's favorite space crab, and I actually kind of like what they are doing with him. So they think Phoenix is in a decent spot as it is, but they've changed some functionalities. Inhibiting energy is your W talent that never gets picked at level 4 because of how goofy the fuck it was to make it work. But now, every 10 seconds, Phoenix's basic attack with Phase Bomb is going to slow everybody it hits by 60%, which is going to decay over 1.5 seconds. So every 10 seconds, you basically have a 60% slow for a short window. So kiting people, going to be really easy. Getting away from people, probably going to be a lot easier. Chasing people, going to be a lot easier. It's just better functionality than it used to have. Dampening Field 13 is the armor for the spell armor for the shield while it's up. So you are now getting 30 instead of 25. 30 seems to be a magic number for Blizzard, not going to lie to you. Photonic Weaponry at 16 is your... Oh my god, Phoenix, you got to shut up. I'm talking, buddy. Photonic Weaponry is just going to give you more damage while you have shields up. So they're changing it from 15% to 20%. It's good, but compared to the other two options, depending on your build, I don't know if it's really going to be that good. Because 16 is the percentage damage tier and then the cooldown reduction tier. So Arsenal Overcharge is the other change that they did, which is the cooldown reduction option. Basic attacks with Repeater Cannon are going to drop ability cooldowns by 0.5 seconds, and then basic attacks with Phase Bomb are going to reduce 0.5 seconds for heroes hit. So Phase Bomb can hit multiple people in an AoE, so if it's hitting multiple heroes, you're getting multiple cooldown reduction for those heroes hit with Phase Bomb, or if you just attack whatever with your Repeater Cannon, you're getting 0.5 seconds off of the cooldown anyway. So your... Actually, wasn't this... Was this always all talents, or was this just ults? I think it was always all talent, or all abilities, right? Yeah, it's just all ability cooldowns. I don't know. Anyway, the cooldown reduction either way is going to be dependent on which one you shoot. So if you're using Phase Bomb, it's only for heroes hit in... You want to make use of the AoE because you can get more cooldown reduction. And then if you're using Repeater Cannon, it's always going to be 0.5 no matter what you hit because of the speed that you have with Repeater Cannon. Now, the 20 upgrade for Phoenix is it's a Planet Cracker upgrade. And we're actually going to go into try mode so I can show you guys the change, because Planet Cracker didn't used to have an upgrade, and they have decided
Choose a talent.
now's the
Choose a
time.
talent.
So let's see, we'll just
Choose a
Arsenal
talent.
Synergy. None of these
Choose a
matter. I don't
talent.
know what I'm doing.
Choose a
To
Choose a talent.
oh my god,
Choose a talent.
Arsenal Overcharge, and then
Choose a talent.
Armageddon Beam is the new fancy Planet Cracker. So we're going to increase the width of the beam to double over 1.5 seconds, and we are going to reduce the cooldown by 40 seconds. So it's a 100-second cooldown naturally. We're going to change it to a 60-second cooldown, and the beam is going to get double the width in the first 1.5 seconds. And here is what that looks like. And, let's just say we try to hit one. Well, only the two? Only the one. There we go. So say we get unlucky and only hit this person. Now we're hitting all three. Oh my god. I love it. Couple that with your Arsenal Overcharge at 16. Planet Cracker just exploded into a whole new level of use, I think. Especially at level 20. So that's really cool. Really inspired change there on a level 10 that didn't used to have a 20. So, fuck yeah. And then Phoenix is super chatty. So we can move on to Mephisto, who's going to be our last in the patch notes here. Skull Missile is going to be reduced on the delay it takes to fire off to 0.625 seconds from 0.75. So that just means it's going to launch faster. Similar to, if you remember playing Old Blaze, his tackle took a little bit longer to wind up, and then they reduced that change, and it felt a lot better. So I think they're gearing Mephisto players more towards hitting Qs more reliably, and then they're actually increasing the speed of the missile as it travels as well. So hopefully it just is more reliable as an ability nowadays, because typically when you're picking Mephisto, you're only really hitting people with your W, not your Q. So the other buffs are going to be talents for the Q. Unyielding Power giving you 2 charges of Skull Missile, which is super helpful. And then that's the quest completion. And then Ghastly Armor giving you 25 armor. Not super significant, but still good. And then 13 is the... it used to be Abhorred Skull was the one that you would hit people with your Q and you would get additional spell power. Now they've changed it to Skull Missile is going to deal 40% more damage to people under 50% health. So it's more of an executioner talent these days. Oh my god, my neck! But hopefully that's cool. I really liked the way that the Q build worked with Mephisto back in his like introduction to the game, but hopefully these buffs kind of give us something to work with there. Anyway, oh right, I forgot about Tracer. Ugh. Oh god, I forgot about Tracer. How could I forget about Tracer? Okay. Anyway, I will never play well, I guess I have to, don't I? I have played her in the past. It's really hit or miss for me with this character, because sometimes I love her, sometimes I hate her, and then I will never play her again. By never, I mean eventually later at some point. Melee. Pulse Bomb generation reduced from 6 and 12 to 5 and 10. I'm not real sure what that is. That like versus minions versus heroes? Where is she? Hello, Tracer. There you are. 5%... 10% against heroes. Okay, so 5% against anything, 10% against heroes. And then Pulse Bomb, your R, target damage is going to get increased by 10, and then AoE damage is increased by 5. Maybe that scales really well, but that doesn't seem like a huge buff. It's numbers, I guess. Parting Gift. At level 1, number of bombs increased from 3 to 6. So this is the one where if you hit your E button, you poop out a couple bombs, and then those are going to give you ult charge, as well as, I think it was a cooldown reduction. Am I wrong? No, they're actually going to slow. What? Oh, they're going to slow now. They used to do something else. I'm not sure what that was. I don't play Tracer. Yeah, and there's 6 bombs. So typically this was picked way before Tracer's rework, that you would get a lot of burst damage out of Parting Gift. I think they're trying to push it back into that, because right now all I see is people taking 1-2 punch. But I don't know. Could be a decent buff. Leeching Rounds increase the healing from basic attacks up to 200%, increased based on Tracer's missing health. So, I mean, she has baseline life leech because she needed that. But is this going to be a strong change? I don't know. Again, I don't. If I played her more often, I'd probably have a better answer for that. This is one of the few characters that I don't have a gold ring for, so. New functionality for Is That a Health Pack. Collecting a regen globe instantly heals Tracer for 10% of her max health and reduces the cooldown of the healing fountain by 15 seconds. Drinking from a healing fountain instantly heals Tracer for 20% of her maximum health. That seems good. A lot of the functional changes for Overwatch characters and the wells, because D.Va has the cooldown reduction on the well that she can activate wherever if she's in a mech, and now they're giving Tracer something similar with the interaction. Seems neat. Seems really neat. I don't know how much the wells actually heal you for normally. So that may be a nerf. Or a buff? I don't know. Okay. Untouchable, our 13 talent. Maximum damage bonus reduced from 30 to 25. Then movement speed bonus duration reduced by 0.5 seconds. This is like the stackable damage talent, isn't it? After blinking, you get 20% move speed for 1.5 seconds, and then takedowns are going to increase Tracer's basic attack damage, and you lose them all on death. Yeah. I don't know why that's getting nerfed. If it's popular, I think Jumper is better, so weird. And then Telefrag got some changes as well. This ability I thought was cool the last time we played Tracer, but cooldown reduction is going to be reduced. Those are weird numbers. And then damage is going to be increased on the knockback. Tracer becomes unkillable for 1 second after arriving at her recall location. So Telefrag. Basic attacks against enemy heroes reduce the cooldown of recall by 0.1875 seconds because she has so many auto attacks so fast. When Tracer arrives at her recall location, she becomes unkillable for 1 second, and nearby enemies take 175 damage and are knocked back. So her recall location is now going to do more damage, and she's going to be completely unkillable for 1 second after that recall. So you're now going to have to CC her at her location if she recalls. So the way that it works before this happened is that Tracer recalls, everybody can see her recall point, and then pops her with whatever range damage that she's got, because typically she's going to be coming back with small amounts of health. But now they've said, okay, well, we need to keep her alive for at least 1 second to dodge all that unavoidable ranged horseshit damage, and that's probably a strong change. Telefrag and Jumper, I think, are way better than Untouchable anyway, so why not pick them? Anyway, that's going to be it for patch notes. That's literally everything. No bug fixes or anything like that. So, all in all, pretty good round of changes, I think. Definitely liked the Mal'Ganis idea here. Tyrael looking strong too. Ragnaros might be a little bit fun. Artanis is like, eh. Hogger, who cares? Malfurion, Whitemane, Lily all look really cool, so I can't wait to try those. Those guys are coming up. Illidan, who knows? And then Chromie obviously needed the nerfs. Falstad, really cool changes to his talents. Phoenix, again, really cool changes to his talents. And then Mephisto, bringing back the Q build into the limelight could be fun. So that's going to do it for me. I know this patch note video was hella long, but you know, it's patch notes, so we do what we do. I will be back. I'm probably releasing this in the middle of the day with the Artanis stuff, so there you go. Plenty of stuff to watch all week long. Anyway, peace out. GG's.